Hello and welcome to another episode of ProjectCar. Now after slapping on better tires on the car, the confidence levels have soared. Now we can push it harder and faster, but unfortunately something is rubbing down under, which we have to get checked obviously. But you know, our VBOX run shows that this car actually got faster because now finally we can put all that power down. But what is the power this 12-year-old car produces? For that, we have come here to KS Motorsport to dyno this car to know exactly how much power loss has happened after all these years, or rather 67,000 kilometers. So can you just tell us that how do you exactly do the dyno run?
Of course, we strap the power wheels onto the roller. We know the weight of the roller, we know the RPM of the roller. So the equation is set. So we run your car in third gear or the gear that we choose. Usually all cars we do third gear, but if it's a Supra or a 7-8 speed gearbox, then we use fifth gear as well, depending on horsepower of the car. So this car has been strapped on third gear. And I did a single run pull, so we started 1500 RPM all the way to red line. This 67,000 kilometer car has made about 93 horsepower. If you also look at the graph here, this is your torque figure. Torque is what gets you moving. So torque is also quite flat and just under 100 foot-pounds, about 90, 95, 80 and dies out. And then the horsepower takes over and your peak horsepower is somewhere at about 6,000-ish. 5850 is peak horsepower of 94.
And a stock car is actually 94 horsepower.
Then your car is kept well.
So
that's what I did. Is I even did two runs, redundancy runs, one after the other, and both showed up as 93 and 94. So your car is actually well kept and it's not lost any power over the years.
Or can we assume that maybe that when they actually revealed the figure that time, they told us the power at the wheel and not at the crank?
No, this power that I'm telling you is at the wheel.
At the wheel?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that when Maruti had revealed this back then...
If they set it on the crank, then it has to be even lower, because from the crank it goes to the gearbox. So you have drivetrain losses and then slippage loss, clutch loss, and then to the wheels. So you can calculate that about 15%. So if they said 95 then, minus 15%. So another 15 horsepower out, 14 horsepower out.
So the figures from...
No, I think this car was 110 horsepower.
No, this was 94, 1.6 litre, 94
was it?
horsepower.
Okay.
So the figures which Maruti had revealed was at the crank.
Was it? But this, no, you got power on the wheels at 94.
So it means that the car is performing brilliantly right
Absolutely fine.
now. Alright. Thank you so much.
Of course, anytime.
Unbelievable, just unbelievable. What I said in the start of this video, that's not true. It's not producing 94 horsepower at the crank because it will have a 15% loss, and it is producing 94 horsepower on the wheel itself, which means that this 12-year-old baby produces more power than a modern Maruti Ciaz. So a big thank you to the previous owner for keeping this baby in mint condition, and a real small thank you to Dhanil for hunting this car. In fact, we're not even going to tell him this car produces 94 horsepower. you're just going to tell him it makes 65, so he feels a little miserable as well. We are here to do stage 1 mods on this car, which means we have to come to someone who knows their stuff. That's why we are here at Sushila Autotechnik. They're going to help us install an air filter as well as a performance exhaust to make this car loud as well as fast. And you can kindly ignore these two people who are disloyal, who are checking out the Beetle, not our Baleno, and Dhanil, of course, who's a big fan of Momo. No, he's not eating Momo, he's checking out the Momo wheels on that Mercedes. Looks like these guys are having a lot of fun. Anyways, finally the air intake has been installed. Actually, the air filter has been installed. The air intake is with that guy. So this car already has 2 air intake slots. So we were confused where to put it actually, but then we decided not to use it at all because obviously there's a lot of air which comes from 2 sides in the car. This is the filter. Obviously the car is going to sound really very nice. So one thing is done, which is a good thing. Now the next thing is of course the exhaust. So Neha, raise the car. So what we are going to do is that we are going to change the exhaust of this car, but you're not making any changes to the headers because obviously that can be done and it's useful as well, but we do not want to play with the reliability of this car. That's why the headers are going to remain stock on this vehicle, and after the headers everything is going to get changed, including the piping, and we're putting a Borla end can. And right now, without any exhaust, because the exhaust has been removed and kept aside, you're just making the new piping, which is stainless steel. The old one has rusted. Now without the exhaust, it is sounding really very loud, and that's how cars should sound, but unfortunately it will obviously not comply with sound regulations. So I'll just show you. So as you can see, yeah, from here, this is the exhaust place. This has been removed, and this is the holder for the exhaust, which goes all the way from here and exits right here. And right now this is the one, this is the exhaust, little rusted. Of course it will rust, and it's quite heavy too. So new one is being made right now. It should be ready in I think around half an hour, 45 minutes time, and the new Borla end can is going to look like this. So this is actually the one which will obviously get a muffler for that aesthetic look. Thank you so much, Dhanil. Let's get this done now. So after a few hours of hard work, finally the stage 1 mods are finished with our ProjectCar, and thanks to Sushila Autotechnik to help us with this. So we have Murugan, who's going to explain to us what exactly has gone into this car and what has not.
So one of the mod which we did was the BMC Cold Air Intake. One of the key feature of this cold air intake is that it sucks in the cold air, which is very important for the engine performance, as well as it gives a free flow to the engine. The second mod which we did is the Borla ProXS. There are a lot of benefits, but I will just focus on the key features, which are like it gives a very crisp and a metal sound. Secondly, it's kind of like 10% lighter than the stock exhaust, and we have also deleted the mid can and did the custom piping in order to maintain the free flow from the cold air till the end can.
So how much percentage or horsepower increase we can expect from all these modifications done today?
So hardly, I think, like with the cold air intake and the Borla ProXS, I think approximately 3 to 4 HP gain.
3 to 4 HP. So right now with Dyno did, it was doing 94. So we will be almost touching 100.
100 is kind of like
optimistic,
but I can say 97 for
97.
sure.
So our target is not to reach 100. Our target is to reach sub 10 in terms of 0 to 100 km/h acceleration.
Okay.
So we are near. We are hoping this will help us reach there. Otherwise, I think we'll have to strip off the car and reduce the weight and reach that target.
We are here to help you out with that. Let us know how it does.
Yeah. And why didn't we go with changing the headers of the car?
If you do the headers, then you have to obviously the boring of the blocks as well. Currently, if you want a reliable with the Indian fuel adulteration to keep up the car and last it long, I recommend not to change the headers for now.
Alright, great. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Now it's our time to get into the car, rip it to the red line to find out how exactly does it perform and how exciting does it sound, both from the intake side as well as the exhaust side. Over to you guys.
What's up?
Party? Meanwhile, Dhanil made a guess. It makes around 150 horsepower down a cliff. Cut.
ये भी डाल सकता है गंदा हंसने वाला पार्ट.
हेलो हेलो हेलो.
एक ऑफिस में लगे.
Dude, you know work is going on there, and why we have got you here?
No.
We
So
did
that
a dyno of the Baleno, and guess what power output we got on the dyno?
90.
No.
69.
69.
What car have you got? What is this? UN69 is always like, okay, forget all this.
Good number.
It's so embarrassing. We can't even tell people that the disc car makes 69 horsepower. We're putting performance.
Karan said
to
the
it.
engine is in really poor condition, not maintained properly,
But it's a
not
12-year-old
performing
car.
optimally. So what?
Okay. Dhanil,
Yeah.
the Baleno produces 94 horsepower on the dyno.
What? No.
Yes, 94
Yes.
horsepower on the dyno.
That's the facts.
The engine is in brilliant condition.
So
I don't know right now. Should I be happy or not?
You should be super happy.
you've already, if you see the previous video where we have done the dyno, that is showing you the graph, and we never wanted to tell you, but he's the only guy in office who actually uses a Windows computer, and that dyno software only works with Windows. So we have to give him the file to make an export of it so that we can put it in the video. But Dhanil, congratulations, great pick. 94 horsepower, shocking. 94 horsepower on the wheel, 12 years, 67,000 kilometers later.
so happy.
Neha, you either come in the frame or go out of the frame. You come here. You come here behind.
उल्लू मत बनाओ.
कुछ अच्छा काम किया फाइनली तूने.